going. Let me make sure this actually connects. Okay. It says live. Okay. I think. Okay, I'm just gonna go with it. Okay. All right. This is episode 146 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. Now, Thomas, I think that George Clooney. You heard of George Clooney?
Yeah, man. He made that. He made that movie John Michaels about that dude who just. Actually, I have no idea what that movie's about. But he was in that movie called John Michaels. Car exploded.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that movie was about still to this day. I watched it probably about 8 times.
Mikey,
don't ask why.
Mikey says you got an echo unless he's talking about. No, he's probably talking about me. Damn it. Hold on. It's probably because of this, right? Okay, so the echo should be gone now. All right. Well, anyway, So George Clooney. The most important thing about George Clooney is that he is a Bengals fan.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Well, he's from the area.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's from like.
You should ask what John Michaels was about. I have no idea what John Michaels was about.
I don't know, but you know what I do know is about is George Clooney. I think he summed up how I feel about the Bengals very, very concisely, and it went a little something like this: I am a man of constant sorrow. Yeah, that's pretty much how I fucking feel.
Dang, I thought you were gonna sing the Lion King song. The way he kind of came in, he was like, "Da Topanga, da."
Yeah, I don't think George Clooney did that though. But you see, so George Clooney was playing like a bank robber in that movie. But I think he just took the inspiration from being a Bengals fan because, good God, and I know you know how it feels, Thomas. I know you know about the constant sorrow, but still, somehow, at least this season, the Bengals got it worse. Maybe just this season, but we still got it worse right now.
Michael Clayton's the name of the movie. Michael Clayton, not John Michaels. I knew it was Michael something.
Not the. I think it was "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" is the movie I was referencing.
I'm referencing Michael Clayton. It got 90% on Rotten Potato. Don't know how.
So the Bengals season is over. Not like mathematically. Zach Taylor. They asked Zach Taylor, "Can the Bengals still make the playoffs?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course." And it's like, well, yeah, I guess technically, mathematically, the Bengals can still make the playoffs. But if you can't beat the Steelers, it's pretty much fucking over, Zach Taylor. Like, I'm sorry, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I don't necessarily believe in the Bengals. I'm not saying they won't do it, but I don't believe in the Bengals to win a single game left on their schedule after what I saw against the Steelers. That was absolutely embarrassing. It was ridiculous. The Steelers have killed our season once again. I fucking hate the Steelers, but it is what it is. The Browns still have a chance, though, with the recently promoted Joe Flacco as their newest answer to the quarterback problem. I did make a promise to Thomas last week that I would root for the Browns for the rest of the season if he starts. So I guess hold on. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go. Hold on. I'm having. Go Browns. Okay, there. I said it. Are you happy?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I can't hear the echo.
You could hear it just fine, and if you want to hear it again, you can go back and clip it out of the episode. But I said it, and that's all you're getting out of me, Joe. You just better go beat the Ravens. But I need some Joe to root for, man. I gotta have a Joe to root for.
We'll play.
I need Joe Flacco to beat the Ravens and avenge me. Because I am so incredibly embarrassed about that game last week. And that's because why, Thomas?
Because Pittsburgh still sucks.
That's right. They still fucking suck. So what are you doing, Bengals?
Yeah, what are you doing, Bengals? Well, I mean, I do got Jake.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast.
He had him.
Where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
In the end zone, had them all beating everything, and then picking the end zone. I mean, honestly though, if y'all had the Cleveland Browns defense, y'all about to win that game.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's just go ahead. Since we're on the topic, let's go ahead and talk about the Bengals, even though I really don't want to. My daughter asked me how the Bengals game went after the Bengals game had concluded. I think the next day, she was like, "Hey, so how did the Bengals do yesterday?" And my response was there a game yesterday?"
Wait, you got a daughter?
Yeah, I've got a daughter.
Oh damn, that's a news to me. I thought you only had a son.
I do have a son. I also have a daughter.
Damn. Cause you family guy.
Yeah, well,
Rather than a family guy. Da, da, da.
Okay.
Da, 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 laugh and cry.
So yeah, well, you know what? I'm doing a whole lot of laughing and crying. Mostly crying, but there was a little bit of laughing because like that I literally could not believe what I was watching. But then again, I would imagine with the Steelers being, what are they, like 8-4 or something crazy like that, 7-4, something like that. I would imagine that's how a lot of football teams feel this year when they play against the Steelers and then the Steelers win, and they're like, how did we lose to this team? But that's just how I'm sure a bunch of teams feel right now. But good God, Thomas. Like, okay, now Jake Browning obviously needs to improve. Like you were saying while the intro was playing, you were saying that Jake Browning throwing that pick killed it all. And yes, Jake Browning throwing the pick sucked. But here's the thing, Thomas. The Steelers had the ball at the 15-yard line. It's not like it was a big interception return. They had the ball at the 15-yard line, and the defense can't stop Kenny Pickett. Like, dude, I understand. Okay, so people are like, oh, the Steelers only scored 16 points. How can you blame the defense when the offense wasn't doing anything? And they've been saying that shit all year. Like, I know the defense doesn't let up a whole lot of points. The fact of the matter is the Steelers average 16 points a game. So at the end of the day, the defense let the Steelers have their average performance out there. It's not like the Steelers offense is hard to stop. So you know what? They got 16 points out of it. But how do you let Kenny Pickett march 85 yards to get a game go-ahead touchdown? I probably just woke up my wife, and I will apologize later. But yeah, good God.
I don't know how do you, this is a great time to roast Kenny Pickett and all them Steelers fans who think Kenny Pickett is it. And them baby hands. I
can't say anything right now. Now here's the thing. To be clear,
Stuck
Kenny Pickett. People are talking about, oh, Kenny Pickett had a better day. He had a better day because, they fired Matt Canada. Look, Kenny Pickett's fine now. Well, the fact of the matter is Kenny Pickett didn't do that great. What Kenny Pickett did was he kept throwing the ball to Pat Freiermuth because the Bengals have no fucking ability to cover a tight end. They never have. Going back my entire life, as far back as I can remember that I was paying enough attention to football to be able to diagnose what's going on during a game, I could have told you, yeah, the Bengals have no ability to cover a tight end. I remember back when we were playing the Steelers, back in the Carson Palmer era, and it was like, oh God, well, we're playing the Steelers, so I guess, Heath Miller's going to have 200 yards in this game. It happens every single time.
I think Kellen Winslow Jr. had like a 150-yard game against y'all one time.
Dude, friggin', who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that recent Browns tight end that you were super happy when they got rid of? Austin Hooper, right?
Austin Hooper, yes.
Yeah, Austin Hooper. You know how many big games Austin Hooper had against the Bengals?
3.
Way 4, too maybe. Many for him being Austin Hooper. Because the Bengals have no ability to cover tight ends. And it doesn't matter who's the defensive coordinator. It doesn't matter who is actually on defense. It doesn't matter if it's Logan Wilson or Vontaze Burfict or, freaking Bob Trumpy out there playing, the tight end from the 1960s. If he's out there playing linebacker, it doesn't matter. I could be out there playing linebacker and you get the exact same result you get out of every single Bengals player who ever goes against a tight end who plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, so that's how my week's been going, Thomas.
Oh, happy Friday.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Who do you play this week?
I don't fucking know. The Jaguars, I think. We play on Monday Night Football against the Jaguars. I have no idea. I don't even know how to respond to that because it's probably my wife texting me. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, okay. Joe Flacco is starting for the... Oh, my buddy Aaron is actually texting me about how Joe Flacco is starting for the Browns on Sunday. I don't think he's watching. So, interesting timing there.
Well, fuck you, Aaron, for not watching. Talk shit about Aaron real quick. No, Aaron, fuck you for not watching the podcast.
Aaron's in my stream sometimes. And don't forget, Aaron's the one who did the music for the podcast.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
He did the music love you, Aaron.
For the podcast and for my he also did the background music for my show.
We love you, Aaron. Thank you.
And he has been in the chat every once in a while. Like he usually if he shows up, it's usually for like when I'm live streaming a game, but he has been in the podcast chat before. Speaking of which, hello to Mikey and Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. I do see your guys' comments. I was ranting about the Steelers, and that's going to happen when we get embarrassed. And I don't mean just lose to the Steelers. I mean get embarrassed by the Steelers. And I know TJ Watt's on the other end, guys. I understand that. But, like, good God. Jonah Williams didn't even try to block him at one point, and he tried to just basically like, oh, yeah, Drew Sample, you can handle TJ Watt, can't you? Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. And then a bunch of Bengals fans came out here, and they were like, oh, Zach Taylor clearly doesn't know how to run an offense because he's out here, like, telling Drew Sample to go block TJ Watt. And, like, bro, that's not what happened. Jonah Williams forgot to block TJ Watt, and Drew Sample ended up, like, on him one-on-one. That's what happened. It wasn't Zach Taylor's fault. It was Jonah Williams' fault.
Dang, dude, you are like hot today, man.
The project's not due for like a year and a half, so I don't quite know what I'm going to ask of you yet. But I'll give it some thought as I can. I've had a lot going on lately, in particular the Bengals. But anyway, continue, Thomas.
Hey man, hot today, homie.
Yeah, hot today. Here's the thing. I actually did not. I was actually pretty chill when we started the podcast. Well, no, okay, let me rephrase. While I was waiting for you in the room here, I was pretty chill. I had a pretty chill day. I actually had a pretty good day. I learned some interesting new things for this new career that I'm developing, and I had a pretty solid day at work. All the clients I dealt with were pretty chill and in pretty decent moods. All the people around me were in pretty good moods. And then I came here for the podcast, and I started typing up my notes for my intro. And then I was like, oh yeah, fuck, the Bengals exist. I have to talk about the Bengals. That's gonna have to be my next hour or so. And then I start I type all that out. I'm already getting kind of pissed off as I'm talking, as I'm writing it out. And then I start talking about it, and I just keep getting angrier with every word. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, Thomas, I don't know if the Bengals have ever pissed me off more than they pissed me off on Sunday. Like, there have been more disappointing losses for sure. There has been probably like lower lows as a Bengals fan, but I don't know if I have ever been more pissed off at the team than on Sunday. That was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Like, what the Bengals proved to me is that the Bengals are a bunch of below average fucking football players who are like elevated by Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow should basically be MVP every single season. That's what the Bengals proved to me against the Steelers, that they are a team of sorry ass motherfuckers who can't do shit. That's what they proved to me. They proved to me that, like, it doesn't matter if Joe Burrow's not there, they're screwed. Which once again made me, feel like you were talking about, hey, they need a better backup quarterback in the offseason. You're like, hey, Kyle, why are they just going with these quarterbacks? And I'm like, and the reason I said in the offseason, Thomas, is because I said, because it doesn't matter. If Joe Burrow's out, then we're screwed anyway. And lo and behold, I wasn't just right. I was dead fucking on. They are totally screwed without Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is like everything, man.
There's
like a LeBron James got hurt.
Exactly. It's one of the first videos that really performed well on like this channel or the pod, or just for us in general, was when Thomas in one of the earliest episodes of the Battle of Ohio podcast compared Joe Burrow to LeBron James, and you said, like, after we drafted him, you're like, well, Joe Burrow's y'all's LeBron James, and then we went through this whole like explanation about it and everything like that. But it's so true. It's so true, because without Joe Burrow, we look like a bottom 5 football team, like, frankly, honestly. Like, that was the most pathetic performance I've ever seen from this football team. And like I've seen worse performances, but all of those teams had zero expectations. This is the worst I've ever seen compared to the expectations. Because like I went into that game thinking like, you know what, Jake Browning, like, you know, I've seen a lot of good backup quarterback play this year. Maybe with Jake Browning, maybe they, you know, he can be serviceable enough that they can kind of go on a run because they've shown signs of good defense this year. And that's not what we saw. What we saw was an absolute catastrophe of just an embarrassment of a football performance out there. Jake Browning went out there. He actually didn't have too bad a game. He threw that interception. The interception sucked. But like, you know, like in general, Jake Browning went out there and put on about the performance that I expected out of Jake Browning. You know, like I expected him to like do okay, but not great. And the rest of the team, as a Super Bowl contender, should be able to step up around him and beat the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers and Kenny Pickett. But is that what they did? No. They sat down and they just like they sat on their hands and they fucking farted and they were like, "I'm sorry for myself." That's what happened.
Y'all should go sign a former division rival quarterback. Y'all should go sign Ben Roethlisberger.
You know what? Like, no. I would rather not win a game the rest of the season than have Ben Roethlisberger as the quarterback. But like, I mean, frankly, like prime Tom Brady, 2007 Tom Brady couldn't help this team.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying. Because they don't like I don't want to sit there and accuse like people who have busted their ass their entire lives to get to the position they're in of just going out there and straight up not trying. But like it visually looked like that. I'm not saying that's what they were doing, but it visually looked like they weren't even trying at a certain point.
Well, here's the positive. You want to hear the positive?
What's that?
They're going to get a pretty good draft pick this year.
Well, you know what that is? As much as I want to like shit on you for saying that, that actually is a bit of a positive because the last time,
I'm like dead serious, yeah.
Yeah, because the last time this happened, we got Jamar Chase, and then we went to the Super Bowl. The Ravens had a lost season. They got Kyle Hamilton. So, you know, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, like, you know, and I do actually have high hopes for next season because I've said it, I think, more than one time on this podcast, but it sounds like Joe Burrow is expected to make, like, not just a full recovery, but like a full recovery. Like, there should be no lingering effects of this whatsoever. Yeah. He should be ready to go, like, for training camp. He should have as normal of an offseason as you can have, which it might be the first time that's happened his entire football career. So, my hopes for next year
those injuries.
I actually do think that this team can get back to being like a Super Bowl contender next year. But I was at least hoping that they would be competitive enough this year to build some momentum for next year. And at least from what we saw against the Steelers, maybe they go out against the Jaguars and they do something special. Maybe they, you know, can go on a run, beat the Vikings. I mean, the Chiefs look pretty vulnerable, right? You know, I mean, you know, they got the Colts. The Colts are extremely beatable. And then, you know, there's the Browns and their defense. That could be a tough one, but you know, I mean, they could go on a run is my point. They could totally go on a run. They're running out of room because I think 10-7 is like my floor for being like, if you have this record, you're making the playoffs. Because if they go 9-8, yeah, they could make the playoffs in like a special circumstance, but like the likelihood of that would, you know, probably win you some money if you bet on it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think. I think if you guys lose again, I think players are gonna start checking out. That record.
That's kind of the problem. Like, it felt like they were checking.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Like I said, y'all the Bengals. Y'all got Joe Burrow. Every year, you got Joe Burrow. Y'all gonna be Super Bowl contenders. And Joe Burrow. The thing is about Joe Burrow is he's not a scramble quarterback. Because Joe Burrow has a long career in front of him. So,
look, the fact of the matter is, I think he's not going to play another game the rest of the season. And I think the Steelers game alone should be undeniable proof that Joe Burrow should win MVP this year. And that's not because like Joe Burrow is going to end up with the best stats or like, you know, he's going to have the most impressive season or whatever. But at the end of the day,
most valuable player to his team.
No team is more screwed by losing one player than the Bengals are by losing Joe Burrow.
Oh, shoot. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
No, because they won with Chad Henne, didn't they?
They beat us with Chad Henne,
And,
yeah.
And for the fact of the matter, it's not like the well they beat you guys, but they also beat the Jaguars in the playoffs with Chad Henne. And it's not like Patrick Mahomes has been like, the paragon of like not missing games ever, I mean, he doesn't miss a lot of games. He, obviously Joe Burrow is the more injury prone of the two quarterbacks, but it's not like Patrick Mahomes is just like this record of perfect health.
All those weapons Patrick Mahomes have, Travis Kelce.
Well, yeah, but he's in fairness, he's got like basically
Isaiah Pacheco,
wide receivers.
Taylor Swift.
Mikey says take a chill pill, and frankly, Mikey, that's like coming from you. I've seen some of your reaction videos, bro.
Okay, look, okay. You don't like honestly, Kyle, like if y'all lose next week, it's over for y'all.
Dude, I think it's already over, honestly. Like,
well, I'm trying to be nice here.
I know you're trying to be nice here, and it's not actually fully over. But the fact of the matter is, like, I don't believe in this team to win any of their remaining games after what I saw against the Steelers. Now, I believe they will probably win at least one or two games. I couldn't tell you which ones. I don't know. I have no idea. But the idea that they're just going to win, like they're only going to lose like two more games the rest of the season, there's no way. There's no way. Like, not after what we saw against the Steelers. Like, I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that football team can do that. Maybe with Joe Burrow in 2021 form, this team can come back and do that, because like we saw some crazy shit happen in that 21 run. Joe Burrow maybe next year does something, similar. But at the end of the day, like Jake Browning, I think is a fine backup quarterback. He's young. He was undrafted. Like, he's got to build some experience. So, I mean, he's not like the greatest backup quarterback in the league, but I think he's fine as a backup quarterback. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if you have a fine quarterback. This isn't the 2015 Bengals who got like, who are carrying Andy Dalton to success. This is the 2023 Bengals who were entirely carried to success by their quarterback and the connection that the quarterback has with some of the weapons. And now, like, I mean, here's the thing, like Jake Browning has a pretty solid connection seemingly with like Tanner Hudson, the tight end that we he kind of the third string tight end, but he's more so really being used as like the top tight end right now with Jake Browning. He's got a really good connection with him. He seems to have a pretty solid connection with Jamar Chase. He's got a really good connection with Trent Irwin. So it's not like Jake Browning can't get stuff done, but they're giving him absolutely no help around him.
Well, I mean, Jamar Chase kept on catching his tip balls. That was pretty cool. Me and my freaking Chipotle hand.
Yeah. I know the Ravens swept our team, Jim. Now, frankly, like, we lost Joe Burrow in that game, and we were winning when Joe Burrow went out. So I don't give the Ravens any credit for sweeping us. Like, of course they were going to win that game once Joe Burrow's out, because the team gave up. And they didn't ungive up once it came to the Steelers game. So the Ravens swept us. What do you fucking do? They didn't let us have the sweep when we beat them with like all their backup players back in like 21, and then something similar in 22. They didn't give us any credit, so I'm not going to give them any credit. Like, fuck the Ravens.
Yeah, fuck the Ravens.
I hope Joe Flacco beats your ass, Ravens.
Well, we got to see them in playoffs for that to happen, and that would sting you even worse if that did happen. Yeah, man. I don't got nothing to say about the Bengals right now, man. I said everything I need to say. You guys, not looking good, man.
Mikey asks if I want Derek Carr. No, Mikey, I don't want Derek Carr. Not because I still think Derek Carr is fine. Like, I think Derek Carr is going to be fine for you guys. Derek Carr is a solid quarterback, but the reason I don't want Derek Carr is because I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter. Nobody is going to save the Bengals the way they're playing right now. Nobody.
Well, for one, y'all got a 10 times better quarterback than Derek Carr.
Well, he's talking about in relief of Joe Burrow, I think.
Well, Joe Burrow, I mean, I mean, how would y'all get Derek Carr? Like Derek Carr he's not going anywhere.
I think it's a joke. He's like, hey, ha ha ha, do you want Derek Carr? Because I don't want Derek Carr. I think that's the joke.
Damn, man. Oh, had the mighty have fallen. Derek Carr lost his job before Baker Mayfield.
You know what? This is your fault, Thomas.
How?
This is your fault.
That's my fault. I like Joe Burrow. I didn't.
Ever since we got our ass beat by some elves, it's been like this.
By who?
By some elves.
Some elves?
Some elves.
Who the hell is some elves?
Some elves.
Oh, some elves.
Yes.
Yeah, we broke a couple of teams. Our defense is pretty good. Racing defense, man. I'm just enjoying it because there's no promises that'll be this good next year.
Yeah,
there's no promises. A lot of young players gonna be looking for contracts next year.
I would definitely.
A lot of those young players gonna be looking for contracts. What is that?
I said I would definitely suggest that. I definitely really like after 21, I bought into this team, but after 22, I really bought into this team. I'm like, we're going to be a juggernaut for a while. And I think when Joe Burrow comes back, we're going to get back to being the Super Bowl contenders. Because again, we were like, up until Joe Burrow got hurt, we were back. Like everybody was saying the Bengals are back. They're Super Bowl contenders. Like it's, like everybody agreed the Bengals looked like they were going to be competing at the end of the year again. So like Joe Burrow's when Joe Burrow comes back, I have no reason to believe that's going to stop because this is 3 years in a row now that with Joe Burrow, they've looked like Super Bowl contenders. But at the same time, right now, it's literally just about like the season's basically over. Like, yeah, if you can go make the playoffs, then go make the playoffs. Like that would be cool. And I don't care about tanking and draft positioning. And you know why? Because at the end of the day, the draft is going to get you one guy. And for the Bengals, like, the guy they draft in the first round typically doesn't contribute a whole lot in year one. So, Jamar Chase being the exception, obviously. Joe Burrow got the start year one, but, it took him, it took the team a little while to actually do something with him, right? But I don't want to just like go for draft positioning because there's no guarantee that the guy you do take with the high pick is going to be any good. And then also the guy you get with the low pick could be really good, like frankly. So, I would rather see them go if they can go successfully make the playoffs, that's gearing up for a huge run next year because you're talking about injecting a ton of confidence in a very young football team. The Bengals are a very young football team that's about to get even younger because of all the contract situations. So, you're talking about a very young football team that needs a confidence boost. There's no way they go make the playoffs at this point. But if they did, I would take that 10 out of 10 times over getting the number 8 draft picked. What are you going to do with the number 8 draft pick? That you're not going to do with the number 15 draft pick.
Get a good ass receiver because I would shit, man.
You could get a good ass receiver.
What if Marvin Harrison fall to y'all, man? I'll get a receiver and I'll trade away T. Higgins for pieces.
There's no guarantee that Marvin Harrison's even going to be good in the NFL. He's talented.
Yeah,
that dude could get hurt.
That boy.
In fact, that guy definitely could get hurt. I actually have some injury concerns with him going into the draft.
Who, Marvin Harrison?
Yeah.
Her?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I'll do a little bit more scouting on it, but I don't know. He's really, really talented. But dude, do you remember that we drafted John Ross with the number 9 overall pick?
Yes.
You're making a lot of assumptions by saying that going and getting a better draft pick is worth anything.
I'm not. If
you believe in the scouting, then getting there's really no difference between the number 9 and the number 15 draft pick. If you believe in the scouting. If you don't believe in the scouting, then it really doesn't matter.
I'm trying to be positive, homie. I don't know. Shit.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'd rather root for this team to win than root for a draft pick. The only time I've ever done that, and I stand by it, the only time I've ever done that is when we were fighting for the number 1 overall pick, and we were up against the Miami Dolphins, and we desperately needed to lose that game so that we could go get Joe Burrow. That's literally the only time I've ever rooted for a tank in my life. And I felt bad after I did that. I don't want to see this team lose. It's my favorite team.
Of course, you don't want to see them lose, but I'm just saying, like, if y'all lose,
if we lose, then we get, like I said, it's the difference. It's probably the difference between the number 8 and the number 15 draft pick. It's not that much.
The thing is, though, that's the positive thing that comes out of when season injuries happen to top tier quarterbacks is top tier teams get good picks, and that's a crazy way to think about it, but because you got to realize the NFL is literally set up so you can have a better year than you did last year, unless you're a good team where it's set up where you're supposed to have a worse year than you did last year.
Yeah, no.
So
I agree to an extent. Like if the Bengals if the season is doomed, yes, there's a silver lining at the end. But I would rather personally have the silver lining of increasing the players who are already on the team, increasing their confidence by having them make a playoff run, and proving that this football team isn't just Joe Burrow and friends.
I mean, it is, but the other thing is you guys get next year if you guys don't finish like top of the AFC North, like y'all get easier opponents when we play divisional opponents next year. So all it does is just make next year easier for y'all.
Look, frankly, that doesn't mean anything to me because the Bengals it seems like throughout the Joe Burrow era, the Bengals have this habit of only really like playing all that like well against the good teams. Like they have a habit of losing to the Jets because Joe Burrow throws 4 picks. They have a habit of never being able to beat, no offense, but the Cleveland Browns.
Shout out to the Browns. Shout out to the Elves.
I mean, that's
shout out to the Elves.
The Browns are good this year, but the Browns haven't been good, and yet the Bengals keep losing to them. The fact of the matter is I don't really care what the difficulty of the schedule is because it doesn't really seem to affect the Bengals the way it should affect the Bengals. It seams to affect the Bengals in the opposite way. I'd rather play the Kansas City Chiefs every single week because that's that's a guarantee that they're at least going to bring their A game every week.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, they are, Mikey. That's the best. I found that's the best way to really inject some life into your channel is to do live reaction videos. It's part of why I'm kind of switching more to it's also partially because I'm busy, but I'm switching to mainly live content and shorts lately, because I'm really trying. I only have so much time that I can focus on stuff right now, and so I'm choosing to try to focus on growth. And the best way to grow stuff right now is to do shorts and to do live reactions.
Saints need the Browns to win this week. I need the Browns to win this week too.
Well, you know what? I needed the Browns to win last week, and they didn't. What the hell happened, Thomas?
Sean Payton's a cheap shot artist.
Oh, is that what happened?
No, okay, so I thought DTR did his thing, actually. I thought DTR, did you watch the game?
No, I didn't watch the game.
So, brief overview. Broncos got to a 14-point lead by the halftime. And their 14-point lead was weird because it was crazy because Russell didn't really look that good for real. Courtland Sutton looked good. Russell didn't. It was I think Russell completed 3 or 4 passes in the first half. In fact, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken here, let me look. I'm pretty sure DTR had more passing yards than Russell Wilson did. Wilson just took advantage of throwing to what's his name? Courtland Sutton. DTR in the second half actually brought it all the way back, almost tied the game, and then Amari Cooper dropped a 2-point conversion, but that would have tied the game. But DTR led 3 straight scoring drives at the end of the game. He looked good. He actually had a 73.1 quarterback rating, which isn't horrible. And then like he got blasted. And, it was kind of weird. I don't really want to spend too much time on this, but it was kind of weird because I think some of the hits that Denver had were just like late. And like they weren't like egregiously late, but they were like a second or two late. Like, oh, let me shoulder check this person. Like it was like, but that might have been unnecessary. And like before y'all come after me about that, the refs seem to agree with me too because the Broncos had 3 personal fouls that game. The Broncos had 3 personal fouls that game because of late hits. 3 of them. And Sean Payton, man, it just goes back. And, I don't like that dude. I just don't like that. I really hope we see this team in the playoffs. I feel like we've seen the playoffs, we'll beat them. And I really just don't like that dude, Sean Payton, man. That's the same guy who had, what was it called? Excuse me, where he was where he putting price tags on players' heads for tackles back in 2008, 2009 with Greg Williams and stuff. So you have a reputation for this. Excuse me. Let me just clear my throat for this because I really want to talk about this. I didn't like the hits. The 2 hits that bothered me the most was the Cooper hit and the DTR hit. Both of them were weird to me because it wasn't just the hit, it was how the refs reacted. I know a lot of people say these weird things about refs, about the NFL being rigged and all that shit. I ref football. I ref football. I ref high school football, to be fair. I've been there. I ref football when I've been in those huddles, those ref huddles, where we're talking about stuff and we're like, hey, that hit might have been a little unnecessary. I've been in those huddles. But it was just weird to me if you watch the Cooper hit, after he hits Cooper, the one ref throws the flag, the other ref runs over, and then he's like, so I don't know what the one ref is saying, but I could read the list of the reference to the flag. He was like, I know what I seen. And he said it like 3 times. He's like, I'm sure, and I know what I seen. And it was just like weird to me because it was just like a high hit. It was in the back. And like, so the ball like went flying over Cooper's head. And as he was coming down, the player just blasted him. And then it's just like, all right, cool. And it's like a tad second late. And it's not that bad. But when you look at that one, combine it with the DTR hit, like the DTR hit, I didn't think was good. I thought the DTR hit was just not good at all. I just thought that DTR hit was just like, I don't know.
So going back to something that you were talking about, sort of, at least as far as like, DTR versus Russell Wilson. I still think Russell Wilson was the better quarterback in that game, but I will say DTR didn't do too bad. Like DTR,
really, Russell didn't look that good, dude.
Well, no, but DTR didn't look good either. Dude, Russell looked fine, I think.
Man, but like here's the thing though. Russell played 4 quarters, DTR played 3.5, and DTR was coming back.
That was actually going to be my next question. So, like, what happened? Why was PJ Walker in there? Because he was awful.
Because I just told you there was a late hit on DTR.
Oh, that
after he threw the ball
going out. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And they had 3 personal foul penalties. They were literally hurting our players out there. They were literally fucking us up out there. It just wasn't like, it was just these like they're half a second late or second late hits where it's like, I know your guys are going 1,000 miles per hour. I get all of that. But that looked a tad bit late. that looked a little late and a little intentional. Like that it was a lot of those. And like it's crazy because like I don't know. It's one of those things that are weird, but the refs were flagging Denver for these hits. I'm not crazy for thinking this because obviously the referees thought themselves too. Hey man, maybe that hit was a tad bit late, and they got flagged like crazy on the DTR hit. The DTR hit was crazy. He had a bloody mouth and everything. Dude was concussed. That's why DTR is not playing this week. DTR didn't get benched for Joe Flacco. DTR is not playing because he's concussed, and DTR can get his job back next week. DTR looked good in that game, and he got hit very unconsciously when the Browns were only down by 2 points. And then PJ Walker gave up a fumble, which allowed the Broncos to have good field position, which allowed Russell Wilson to throw that touchdown to ice the game. So, no, I don't think Russell Wilson looked that good. Because the only thing Russell Wilson did well was throw the ball to Courtland Sutton, who's one of the best receivers in the game, and we didn't have Denzel Ward. I really want to play that team again.
Well,
I badly want to play that team again. Badly want to.
Let's back up here a second. Courtland Sutton's a damn good, a very talented wide receiver, but Courtland Sutton's also been up and down throughout his career. He's had a lot of problems.
He was up last week.
Stuff.
Yeah, look, literally, dude, go on the NFL Plus app and go watch that game, and you're gonna be like, "Dang, man!" The only receiver that was making plays was Sutton. That was it.
I'm actually watching some plays right now. I think Russell Wilson looks perfectly fine in this game. Maybe he move around a little better than he does. He's making some decisions here that I'm just not entirely sure why you're doing that, but. I think for the most part, at least as far as throwing the ball, I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah, just as many passing yards as just as many passing yards as DTR, and he played a full quarter more than DTR did. Yeah, just as many touchdowns.
That is kind of wild. That
Yeah,
they were.
That's what I'm saying.
They were both under 200 yards. Even if DTR finishes out that game, he's probably not. Finishing with more than 200 yards passing. So that's kind of wild. In such a pass-heavy league as we're in right now, neither quarterback was on pace to get over 200 yards passing on the day.
He only completed 13 passes, Wilson.
Yeah, but he only had 22 attempts.
Yeah, because he couldn't throw the ball. He could when I tell you his passes, he was missing. 13 to 22, dude. You're worse. Nah, dude, he didn't look good.
Yeah, he had some bad passes, but I'd say overall he turned in a pretty decent day.
He was all right.
For only throwing.
I badly want to see that team again. I badly want to see the Browns go against them again.
Here's the thing: you're saying DTR had the same amount of yards as Russell Wilson, only playing 3.5 quarters. He played like Russell Wilson got more playing time, and that may be true. But DTR still threw more passes. DTR had almost 30 passing attempts. Russell Wilson had 22.
Yeah, but Wilson also had Wilson did a good job of scrambling out of the pocket. He got a couple first downs with scrambling out of the pocket. That's something that he did well. DTR, he wasn't scrambling out of the pocket. Also, the other thing that Wilson did well was he had one or two big passes to people like Sutton or something, man. It was just crazy. It also helped that we had those turnovers by PJ Walker. PJ Walker really helped him out. PJ Walker sucked.
Here's the thing. Courtland Sutton, so you're saying it's all Courtland Sutton, but he only had 3 catches.
Yeah, one of them for 40 yards.
Well, okay. But he still only had 3 catches. He spread the ball around. He had Marvin Mims, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Samaje Perine, Jerry Jeudy. Javonte Williams had just as many catches as Courtland Sutton did.
Look, one of Randy Moss's greatest game ever. He had 3 catches for 3 touchdowns.
Okay, and that's cool and all. I'm just saying it's not all Courtland Sutton as to like what Russell Wilson's doing with his time out there. Like maybe he should.
This is literally what Russell Wilson did. He couldn't find a receiver down the field, so what he would do is he would scramble out of the pocket and he'll run out of bounds. If he couldn't do that, he threw a horrible ass pass. And he connected on one or two deep throws here and there, but overall, Russell Wilson literally lucked into that game. He did not play a great game. He played a very average game, and I badly want to play him again. I badly want them to play that guy.
He completed 60% of his passes. What are you talking about?
He sucked, man. He sucked.
I'm not saying he was elite or anything. I'm just saying from what I'm seeing, I'm seeing a combination of things. I'm seeing some stats. I'm seeing some analysis. I'm seeing some actual plays from the game, and it looks to me like Russell Wilson was just fine. Like I mean, he wasn't this like elite, amazing player that he was touted to be when they made that trade, but he looks like he was just fine.
I think he had looks like Andy Dalton. I think he played a very smart game. I think Wilson played a very smart game yesterday. If I were to categorize his game, played a very smart, calculated game.
Well, maybe that's the difference between him and DTR, because it looks like DTR did not have a very smart game.
Yeah, because he's a veteran. Of course, he's going to play smarter than DTR. He's a veteran. That's what veterans do. They play smart. They know
That's not always true, though. Tell that to Nathan Peterman.
Who?
Exactly.
I think Wilson played a very smart game. He made the passes that he needed to make, but there was times where he made passes that were just egregiously bad. And I felt like when the Browns were finally ready to put pressure on him to make some clutch passes in prime time, the quarterback goes down in a very bad hit. They're coming back in that game, man.
I think Deshaun Watson is actually a really good example of what I'm talking about here. Deshaun Watson is the kind of guy, like, I think one of the biggest problems I've noticed out of Deshaun Watson in Cleveland is like he's clearly got the talent, right? He's clearly got the talent. Like Deshaun Watson clearly can be great. The biggest block I see for Deshaun Watson sometimes is mental. But that guy's a veteran quarterback. Why isn't he out there making decisions like Russell Wilson?
But you know what I mean? But like, here's the other thing about Watson, though. Here is that Watson's last 3 games that he played were really good, but we'll never give him that credit for some reason.
Well, it's cool, but he had a lot more bad games. I think is the reason why. Like when Deshaun Watson has more good games than bad games, people will start giving him credit. But right now, it's like, the last 3 were good.
No, they won't. Yeah, because people hate Watson. No, they won't. No, because they hate him because they hate what they think he did. I don't believe that. And plus, he's a Brown. No, he's a Brown.
You don't understand. No, Thomas. You don't understand how
people hate us because we're literally the Browns.
You don't understand how fickle and wishy-washy people are. Like if Deshaun Watson starts playing well, everybody's going to be suddenly like, I was a fan of Deshaun Watson this whole time.
He was playing well, and people weren't saying. People were like, whatever.
Because he played well for a couple
it's Jets. It's the Cardinals. It's the Titans. He only didn't want to have against against the Ravens, even though his arm was broken. He beat the Ravens with a broken arm.
And that's impressive when you think about it like that. But people need information spoon-fed to them, Thomas. Like, you have way too high of expectations of people. Like you're expecting people to be out here and like be
okay. You know what? Look, okay. Before we get into next week's games, because like that brings up a very good point. Because I really want to talk about this today. Freaking Aaron Rodgers! Like how I had this realization today. I had this realization today, and I sent you that message last night because like I was listening to the radio. They're talking about it, and I'm like, man, am I crazy here? I am like, okay, let me say this. I think Aaron Rodgers is a very douchey person. Okay. I think that he comes off very douchey and arrogant to me. To the point where what is that?
Arrogant, sure.
I mean, oh yeah. No, he can be douchey sometimes. Like he can be a douchey person.
Well, yeah, but every football player can be though. Like I'm not.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. But like, it's just like I'm like sitting here hearing him trying to talk himself into why and how he could come back, and I get it, man. But we're talking about an Achilles here, man. We're talking about an Achilles and playing football. Like, this man is going to come back from an Achilles injury in 3 months to play football. I know he's a quarterback. But this isn't an arm injury. This isn't any other injury in the world. This is literally the worst injury an athlete can have. It's an Achilles injury. And you trying to come back from that in 3 months to play football? I almost want him to do it so he can fuck around and find out. Go ahead, play on torn Achilles. Here comes Myles Garrett. Oh, shit. You want to turn a 1-year injury into a 2-year injury real quick? Actually, what's funny about this? I was trying to figure out what some athletes that came back from an Achilles injury too early that it messed with them. Klay Thompson, Golden State Warriors. He came back from his Achilles injury too early, and he hasn't been the same player ever since. He ended up tearing other ligaments, injuring his Achilles. Like, you don't mess with that shit. An Achilles injury is something you don't mess with. And you're 38 fucking years old. Like Kyle, am I crazy here for thinking that Aaron Rodgers is a dumbass for trying to come back from an Achilles injury in 3 months? Am I crazy here? Just tell me I'm crazy about thinking that.
I think that Mikey brings up a good point. I don't agree with what you're saying, Mikey, but I think I want to use it to illustrate a point that I want to make. So Mikey says, I don't think Aaron Rodgers tore shit. Now, I don't know if I agree with that. I think Aaron Rodgers definitely tore his Achilles. However, a torn Achilles could mean a lot of things. So we don't know the extent of how bad Aaron Rodgers' injury was. Now, I will say 3 months to come back from a torn Achilles of any kind, especially one that he definitely had surgery for. Like, we have documented evidence that he had surgery for it. So that definitely happened, no matter what you want to say. However, there might be levels of, I'm not a doctor. There might be levels of severity to this. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, we know, is an extremely motivated person. So especially with him being 38, I could see him, getting in his head that he needs to do this. Now, I will say, just because he's coming back from IR, just because he's activated his practice window, does not mean that he will be playing in 2023. It just means that he could. And they might just want that story, because honestly, the Jets are 4-7 right now. And unless, if the Jets are the Bengals are in a bad spot. The Jets are in the spot that if they lose one more game, the Jets will not make the playoffs. I guarantee you that. And so if the Jets are in that position, Aaron Rodgers is not coming back this year. I don't. He shouldn't. Whether he should or shouldn't doesn't matter. He won't. If the Jets are out of playoff contention, he's not going to do it, and he'll just be like, "I'll come back next year."
Yeah, Aaron, dude, you only got a few years left in the league anyway. Just be smart about it. Be smart, dude. Be smart, Aaron. Don't listen to your ego. Listen to your head. Listen to your dick. Go fuck some bitches.
Well, you know what? If people listen to the doctors and logic and et cetera, whatever, Alex Smith would have never come back from his injury at all. But he did. And I bet you anything, Aaron Rodgers, who was in the same draft class as Alex Smith, and actually it probably has a grudge against Alex Smith, because Aaron Rodgers was stuck in the green room waiting for a team to draft him when he thought he was going number 1 overall to the San Francisco 49ers, but Alex Smith got that. So I guarantee you Alex Smith is probably sitting here thinking, I'm not going to let Alex Smith one up me. I'm going to come back from an Achilles injury. That guy came back from nearly dying from a leg injury. Well, I'm not going to try to nearly die, okay? But since I have this Achilles thing going on, I'm going to come back in 3 months. Tell you what, bet. And then, it's also quite possible he does that. And then, he, like you said, re-aggravates it and just makes the situation so much worse. But it doesn't change the fact that I could totally see Aaron Rodgers trying to do it, though. and possibly succeeding long enough to get back on the field.
Look, man, honestly, a part of me wants him to do it just so. If he comes back from that injury in 3 months, he's gonna get hurt.
I think
I don't wish injury. Look, I am not the person to wish injury on anybody. But look, man, I am somebody who just had a traumatic injury myself. So, maybe I'm projecting a little bit, but I had a broken wrist, not a torn Achilles. That took me again, I'm a regular ass person. We talking a torn fucking Achilles, dude. We talking about this Achilles is literally Greek folklore that they name a piece of your body off after. Like, don't play with that shit, dude. Don't even joke about you an athlete. How, like, this is incredibly stupid. I'm sorry. This is incredibly stupid and arrogant. Like it's almost like if you do get hurt, Aaron Rodgers trying to come back from torn Achilles, I don't feel sorry for you. I won't. I honestly won't. I won't. I would not at all.
Okay. So you want to go ahead and get into the predictions?
Yeah, get in predictions. I'm done talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Well, we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers here in about 4 picks anyway, but All right, so let's start out. We got the 6-5 Indianapolis Colts, which is wild to me, by the way. But the 6-5 Indianapolis Colts going up against the 4-7 Tennessee Titans.
Gardner Minshew, baby.
I don't know, man.
I might as well go with the Colts.
Who you think's going to win?
I'm going with the Colts, actually.
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts too because, it's like I don't.
Gardner Minshew, baby.
It's real. The Colts keep winning. I don't know how they keep doing it, but the Colts keep winning, and the Titans are bad. So we're just gonna simplify that one. Mikey agrees. Colts. So yeah, Colts. I think. All right. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Chargers and New England Patriots. What a matchup! What a matchup!
Hey, two disappointments right there.
I think we're going beyond disappointment here. We're like both of these teams, I think, were expected to be so much more than they are.
I thought Justin Herbert was. The one though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, I didn't expect the Chargers to be a great football team this year, but man, 4-7 seems like a lot farther than I expected them to fall.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers barely, but I'm going with the Chargers.
Okay.
Barely.
Yeah,
I can see Bill Belichick coming up with a crazy plan to win this game, but no.
Well, you could have said that all year, but they've won 2 games all year.
I know. I think Bill Belichick might get fired. I think it might be Bill Belichick last season as the
I have actually heard that they're looking into trading Bill Belichick. So that I could definitely see that being the way that they handle things, just because Bill Belichick got brought into New England in the first place via trade. I could see them trading him away. That way they don't have to go through the indignity of firing the guy who brought them 6 Super Bowls. So
yeah, I can see that happen.
Now I will say the Patriots upgraded their quarterback position by putting Bailey Zappi in instead of Mac Jones. So that's how bad Mac Jones is, honestly.
They want to get them about to get Caleb Williams next year, man. Caleb Williams about to be a Patriot. It's about to be crazy.
That'd be interesting. But I agree. I think the Chargers are going to win here just because the Patriots are just so bad, like remarkably bad. All right, Lions Saints.
That loss the Lions had against the Packers was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
Saints got what? Jameis Winston quarterbacking now?
No, it's Derek Carr's back.
What the fuck is going on? Mikey? What the fuck is going on, homie? Give me the Lions.
Yeah. Probably the Lions. The Lions have been a little unpredictable this year, but they're still really talented. So I don't know. Mikey says Saints, but I mean, duh. All right. So next up, you've got the Atlanta Falcons and New York Jets. So speaking of Aaron Rodgers.
How did the Atlanta Falcons the Atlanta Falcons have been winning some games here and there, right?
Yeah, the Falcons aren't horrible, but I mean they're definitely not they're 5-6. And it's a very different it's a very different 5-6 than the Bengals 5-6, right? Because the Bengals 5-6 feels like the season's over. The Falcons 5-6 feels like, hey, this team ain't dead yet somehow.
I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Barely, I think the Jets do got good defense and everything, but I don't know. I just see the Jets player. The more a team lose in the season, the more the players start to check out. And I just think at this point, the Falcons got more to play for than the Jets. And I think I'll just get any kind of lead on the Jets. Jets are going to check out.
No, I totally agree. I think the Falcons are going to win this game, and it's not necessarily the Falcons are good or whatever. I think the Falcons are going to win this game, and I think as soon as the game's over, literally all of this Aaron Rodgers speculation is going to be put to bed. They're going to be 4-8, and Aaron Rodgers is not coming back this year. It's just not going to happen. Maybe if the Jets suddenly went on a big run and then there was a thought that, maybe Aaron Rodgers could come back and be the big cowboy and save the day, that would probably motivate him to do it. But he ain't going to do that for a 4-8 football team. So Falcons. All right. That's going to be an interesting one. We'll get to that one later though. Dolphins Commanders.
Good games this week. Give me the Dolphins over the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, those some good games this week. Give me the Dolphins over the Commanders. And I don't want to spend too much.
For one reason and one reason only, because the Commanders are not a good football team. The Dolphins only have the ability to beat bad football teams, which the Commanders are. So I just want to point out that Mikey has not agreed with a single pick that we've given so far. Mikey said the Chargers are going to win. Which actually no, I think I said Chargers. And you might have too. Did you say Chargers?
Yeah, I did say Chargers. Yeah.
Okay, so we did agree on that one. But Mikey said Saints because, of course, we knew Mikey was going to say Saints, and then Mikey said Jets, which is probably just a fuck the Falcons kind of thing there, honestly. And Mikey's saying Commanders over Dolphins. I don't really understand that one. I don't understand that one at all.
Yeah, I mean, when you root for the Dolphins over the Commanders, considering the fact that the Commanders are a NFC opponent.
Well, I don't know if it's they're 4-8. I don't think they're much of an opponent.
I don't know.
I don't think the Commanders are getting in anybody's way this year. But I don't think this is a rooting thing. I think Mikey might genuinely believe the Dolphins are going to lose, which
the Commanders be
against the Commanders? I don't know about that. All right. Okay, so we got the Texans and the Broncos. The battle of the two teams, which we're not entirely sure if they're for real or not, but they might be.
I want to go with the Texans. Barely. I just don't think. I think that. DTR, man, he was coming back. I'm not. I partially is a bitterness from last week. I didn't like those hits that. I didn't like those hits that Denver was doing, honestly. But not only just that, the Browns came back. DTR came back on Denver. DTR did come back on Denver. He started to figure out the Denver defense. I think they might have found something in Denver defense. I think CJ Stroud is going to outplay Wilson this week, flat out.
So I'm gonna completely disagree with you. And here's why. Because Russell Wilson is, other than fumbling, but other than that, Russell Wilson's generally very safe with the football, and CJ Stroud is not. CJ Stroud has really, honestly, low-key been really turnover prone this year. I think this is two teams that are still kind of figuring themselves out after having been really bad last year. And it's really just going to be about, who shows up, who's got the better coaching. And while I think long term, DeMeco Ryans is probably going to be more successful in Houston than Sean Payton's going to be in Denver. I do think Sean Payton's a much more experienced coach than DeMeco Ryans. And I think this game is just really going to kind of come down to like who outlasts the other team. And the Broncos have a lot more momentum than the Texans do right now. So I'm going to give it to the Broncos.
All right, let's see what that one. Let's see what that one.
Panthers, Buccaneers.
Oh, I already picked this one. I picked the Bucks. Yeah. Baker Mayfield revenge game on his old team. He's gonna go off Panthers.
Buccaneers.
Yeah,
isn't that weird to say the Baker Mayfield revenge against his old team and it's not the Browns?
Yeah, but Carolina it's true.
Okay, Mikey's rooting against the reason he picked the Commanders. Mikey's rooting against the Dolphins because he doesn't want Eli Apple to win. Well, you know what? I'm rooting even harder for the Dolphins now that you mentioned Eli Apple, Mikey.
Oh, y'all got a Monday Night Football game this week?
Yeah, I said that earlier. I don't feel good about that one at all, man. I don't feel good about that one at all. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, though. 49ers Eagles, which could be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, why isn't this game on Monday night? Shit.
Yeah, I know. This one instead it's at 4:25 on Sunday.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers this game. Actually had a lot of like I said, I've done a lot of research before this podcast. This is the most prepared I've been in a while for this podcast. So, I've been coming in hot with a lot of numbers. So I'm going with the 49ers.
Okay.
The 49ers got this game.
Cool. You're wrong, but cool.
We don't know if I'm wrong.
The Eagles are the best team in football, and therefore are going to win this football game.
I mean, I'm just saying. You say I'm wrong now, but when Sunday at 8:00, we're gonna figure out if I'm wrong or not. But I think
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. And then
I'm
going to call you up and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Thomas, how's it feel being wrong?"
I'm gonna be like, "Damn, homie, I'm right, homie."
Eagles gonna win the game. All right, Chiefs Packers.
Ooh.
Right.
That's interesting.
Isn't it though?
Because you know what though, because I was going through this just randomly. I was throwing my picks down, but now I'm looking at it. I'm thinking to myself, it's a Sunday night game. It's at Lambeau. The Packers got some momentum. The Packers beat a team that beat the Chiefs at the Chiefs' home stadium, at their home stadium, the Lions' home stadium. I'm talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and make this my big upset of the week. I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. You're gonna make this your big upset of the week, but I'm also picking the Packers, and also Mikey's picking the Packers.
All right, let's make this. All right, let's make it the Battle of Ohio parlay special, big upset of the week. Go win some money, y'all motherfuckers.
Dude, Jordan Love's starting to heat up. I've already told you how I feel about the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs they may be 8-3, but it's a weak 8-3. The Chiefs are vulnerable to me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the Packers in the upset here. I'm really just kind of feeling that one. All right.
Okay.
Pittsburgh Steelers, Arizona Cardinals. Give me your pick.
Why do the Cardinals got to suck so bad? Why are the Steelers getting these easy ass opponents?
Well,
damn, that one sucks. Like, has Kyler Murray been good at all since he come back?
He's better than Clayton Tune. Yeah, actually, yeah. Frankly, the Cardinals have been they haven't been winning, but they've been competitive.
Yeah, it's in Pittsburgh, man. TJ Watt about to have a day. Still going to win this game, dude.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. And the reason why is because this is exactly verbatim the type of game that the Pittsburgh Steelers have always lost under Mike Tomlin. Coming off a big division game where they, put all their effort, all their eggs in that basket, and then they got this trap game sitting behind them where they just kind of show up like, oh yeah, actually we suck. Turns out we suck, guys. Forgot to tell you that. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are. The Pittsburgh Steelers are not a good football team. At least they don't have a good offense. They got TJ Watt on defense, so that's what's going on there. But I do think the Cardinals have got enough going on there, especially with Kyler Murray in there, that I think they can exploit the Steelers. I think they can, and I don't know. I really and this is not a fuck the Steelers type of thing. This isn't like you picked against the Broncos partially because you're salty. This is not a salty pick. This is a genuine. This is a genuine. No, I'm not putting those words. You said that.
No. That's why I'm not. I didn't say anything. That's
not what I'm doing here.
I'm owning up to it. We are literally videotaping ourselves right now. We have an audience that can rewind 5 seconds. I ain't saying. I totally said that. Yeah. I totally said that. We're not going to. We're not going to do it. But I'm just laughing because it's true.
But I'm not. I'm not picking the Cardinals out of spite here. I'm picking the Cardinals because I smell an upset. And I don't even know if it's that much of an upset. I think the Cardinals and the Steelers are very evenly matched teams. The difference is the Cardinals just haven't figured out how to turn a lot of those games into wins, and the Steelers have. Because Mike Tomlin is a voodoo wizard. Okay. I guess the Ravens on bye this week? Seems awful late in the season to be having a bye.
Yeah, I know, man. They should. Yeah, and I was thinking. I thought they had to bye last week. I was like, damn, I finally getting our bye. About damn time for y'all.
All right. Well, anyway, how about Browns and Rams?
I'm gonna go with the Browns. Rams have the worst offensive line in football right now.
It's true.
Myles Garrett's back. Myles Garrett's gonna be fine for this game. I mean, he's gonna be limited, but they're gonna wrap up that shoulder. So he should be able to get some. But even without Myles Garrett, the Browns have the best passing defense in the league. So I think that if the Browns could, I would rush. I'm rushing a lot. I'm rushing the fuck out of Matthew Stafford, forcing mistakes. I just don't think the Rams are that good of a team altogether. They're also an NFC opponent. And, Matthew Stafford can beat you. Obviously, he's Matthew Stafford. I think Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback than Wilson. Yes. But I think that if you were able to get a lot of pressure on Stafford, some picks, I think the Browns are going to force turnovers on Stafford, make it a grind-out game, and then run the ball. Run the fucking ball, coach. Run the fucking ball. Joe Flacco, I'm not high on Joe Flacco, but I think Joe Flacco is a smart enough quarterback to keep us in the ballpark. In fact, I think Joe Flacco is a smart enough quarterback to win this game. They say his arm did not suffer at all. He got a great arm. They're saying his arm is good. My fear about Joe Flacco is always his turnover ability. Joe Flacco is a very turnover-prone quarterback. But one thing that I like about my favorite thing about Kevin Stefanski is that he's great at fixing quarterbacks' turnover problems. He does a really great job of that. So if I'm writing the game plan for the Browns, I'm doing a lot of short passes, a lot of screens, runs, and I'm doing an occasional deep pass to Amari Cooper because it seems like Amari Cooper and Joe Flacco already built chemistry, which is crazy. But that's great to hear. They beat the 49ers. They beat the 49ers with PJ Walker only having 7 days of prep, right? They could beat the Rams with Joe Flacco having 2 weeks of prep. I'm going with the Browns.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Browns are going to win this game. I really just have no faith in the Rams. And not to be a dick, but I'm not picking this game because I'm really super high on the Browns. I'm picking this game because I'm really super low on the Rams.
Yeah, me too. I might pick us to lose next week, I'm going to be honest.
I'm not looking that far ahead just yet. But by the way, I just want to point out Mikey agreed with me that the Cardinals are going to beat the Steelers. I will say,
yes.
the last time the last time I came on this podcast and I predicted an upset of this caliber, of a Steelers football game. You know what it was, Thomas?
When?
It was the 11-0 Pittsburgh Steelers losing to the Washington football team. I think they were called at the time.
I remember I predicted the Bengals, Brandon Allen Bengals to beat the Steelers.
Oh yeah, and then I was like, "There's no way." I was like, "There was no way." Then they did it. It wasn't Brandon Allen, by the way. It was Ryan Finley.
That's who it was. Ryan Finley.
Ryan Finley, the fucking legend.
Yeah.
All right, so now for the game that I cannot figure out why the fuck it hasn't been flexed out, but it hasn't been. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. So why don't you tell me what you think is going to happen, Thomas?
I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Why?
One thing I noticed.
Why?
So. One, Jamar Chase. I think the Bengals
game against the Steelers didn't do shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really don't give. I thought Jake Browning did some things. There was some things Jake Browning did that I liked. And I honestly think if he didn't that pick killed y'all. That pick kills y'all. Y'all got a long week to prepare. I think Jake Browning got some time to he got a long week to prepare for this game. So I think Joe Mixon's Jamar Chase about to have a hell of a game on Monday. I think Jamar Chase about to go on Monday.
I really don't feel like potentially waking my wife up again, so I'm going to say it's much quieter this time. But the interception from Jake Browning sucked. But how in the fuck?
Just throw the ball. Look.
Defense, and you've got this lead on the Steelers. You've been having a good game all year. Not all year, all game. You've been playing pretty well all game. And you let Kenny Pickett march 85 yards down the field to get a touchdown. I don't give a shit how many. Jake Browning could have had 6,000 interceptions. I wouldn't have given a shit. I would have blamed the defense after letting Kenny Pickett go 85 yards to take the lead. Unacceptable. Ridiculous. I'm picking the Jaguars. Fuck the Bengals. I have zero faith, Thomas, in this football team right now. Zero. None. I will be rooting my ass off for the Bengals to win this football game. If I'm a betting man, though, I'm putting my fucking mortgage on whoever the Bengals are playing, because that was the sorriest ass performance I have ever seen from the Cincinnati Bengals football team against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was just unbelievable.
That's great.
No, it wasn't great. It was fucking awful. It was like watching somebody you love OD on heroin. It was pathetic.
Man, I watched that game too, man. I watched that game. Don't worry, I watched that game. I've seen that game live in color.
Then how the fuck you think we're going to beat the Jaguars? Because I still haven't heard an explanation. Like, what about this game makes you feel that they're going to beat the Jaguars? Like, I mean, first of all, the Jaguars are a damn good football team.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty solid.
Now, they're also a very turnover-prone team, but which the Bengals excel at, by the way. The Bengals excel at forcing turnovers, which is great. But they forced. You know how many turnovers they forced against the Texans, and they still fucking lost, and that was with Joe Burrow.
I think, yeah, that's true. That was unnecessary. Y'all lost to the Texans. I don't know. We're gonna see, man. I just think you just throw the ball up to Jamar Chase 20 times and see what happens. Honestly, that was my game plan.
That's basically what they did against the Steelers. Jamar Chase had a good game against the Steelers.
Jamar Chase balling.
Dude, Jake Browning had a very Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase type of pass in that game. Like, we had one of those highlight reel plays, and we still lost.
Y'all, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
We lost because we have no offense. Now the defense, I feel like the defense needs to be fucking crucified after that game. But at the same time, like the fact of the matter is if you want to be objective and just like rational and not look at this like, it's the most pathetic fucking excuse of a football performance that I've ever seen in my goddamn fucking life. And I was alive in the 90s for the Bengals. If you want to take that out of the equation, then we can probably logically look at this and be like, yeah, the offense didn't score enough points. That's why they lost this game. The defense can't be expected to do everything, right? But no, the defense can be expected to do more than they did against the Pittsburgh fucking Steelers and Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, sure, Kenny Pickett does suck.
The Steelers average 16 points a game. It's really bad. The Steelers are awful, but they average 16 points a game. So the Bengals holding them to 16 points, that doesn't mean the defense had a good game. That means they held them to the average number of points that the Steelers score. That means the Bengals defense played a very average football game. And with all this talent, I expect way better than average. It looks like they quit.
Do you think Kenny Pickett will be the quarterback for the Steelers next year? I only ask because I gotta know because I want to go to Pittsburgh. I want to go to. You think so?
I definitely think so because I think. All
right, because I kind of want to go to Pittsburgh. I want to go to Pittsburgh one more time and make fun of Kenny Pickett because that was so much fun making fun of Kenny Pickett while he fucked up.
You'll have another opportunity. The thing is, Kenny Pickett was a first-round draft pick, and they're going to do everything in their power to like pin it on Matt Canada being like the reason why Kenny Pickett isn't any good. So they're going to do everything they can to give Kenny Pickett another chance, and he's going to come out next year and he's going to prove that he's still not the guy. But it's what any other football. It's not a Steelers thing. It's what any other football. It's what the Browns would do. It's actually not what the Browns would do sometimes because the Browns I have actually felt over the years that part of the reason the Browns have been so bad for so long is because in some cases they give up on dudes way too quickly.
Way too early. I could 100% agree. Derek Anderson is probably like the best example of that.
Derek Anderson was a veteran quarterback, though, wasn't
he? No, yes and no. No, because Derek Anderson's first starting job was with the Browns because he was undrafted and he came with the Browns and then he played the last 4 games or like the last 6 games of the season. The Browns went 7-9 that season. And the next season, because they had Charlie Fry, the next season Charlie Fry played 1 game, and then they took Charlie Fry out at the the last drive, like at the end of the game against the Steelers. They were losing by like 30 points, and Charlie Fry sucked. And the one drive that Derek Anderson played, he threw a touchdown, and then they were like, "All right, Charlie Fry, you're done for the rest of the season." So they traded Charlie Fry. Derek Anderson was starting quarterback, and the Browns were 10-6 that year.
Yeah,
same record that the New York Giants had, and they won the Super Bowl, and the Browns didn't make the playoffs. I hate the AFC.
I looked it up, so I guess I had it backwards. For whatever reason, I thought that Derek Anderson made his kind of like got his start by being like the Carolina Panthers quarterback and doing pretty okay with them. And then ended up like going to Cleveland and having a decent career resurgence. Turned out I had it backwards. Turns out he started in Cleveland. Technically, he started in Baltimore, but he really started in Cleveland. Got off to a better than you would expect start, and then he leveraged that into a halfway decent run with the Carolina Panthers prior to Cam Newton.
Yeah, man, he was chilling.
Or not prior to Cam Newton, but when
he was
Cam
like the quarterback for the Panthers for a while. He didn't do nothing. He just chilled there and just didn't do nothing.
Yeah,
he's back.
But yeah, I mean, Derek Anderson. If I recall correctly, wasn't Derek Anderson because like I think up until like there was like a Rams Chiefs game from like about 4 or 5 years back. That I think broke the record. But up until that game, the Bengals and Browns had the record for the highest scoring game in NFL history. And that was with Derek Anderson, wasn't it?
Yep, sure was. Yeah. Sure was. Browns fans ran Derek Anderson out of town.
Yeah, like they do with everybody.
For Brady Quinn. It is the stupidest thing ever. It's when I started questioning like I was like 10 years old when this happened. Or I was 13, 14 when this happened. I remember when it was happening, I was just like, hey, why are we running this guy out of town when this guy can't throw the ball past 15, 20 yards and we were in Cleveland. And like I remember like being like 13, 14, telling this like grown men, and I'm like, y'all stupid if y'all think y'all want Brady Quinn as your quarterback.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like, I mean,
they would yell at me. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. But Brady Quinn was a first round pick, so like a lot of like football fans who don't really understand things are going to look at the fact that he was a first round pick and just automatically assume that he's like, deserves more of a chance than Derek Anderson, who was a 6th round pick with the Baltimore Ravens, who got cut, who came to Cleveland and, was surprisingly good. So they were expecting Brady Quinn. We expect him to be good, like thinking that he might be like the next Bernie Kosar or something like that. And also, it was also partially because Brady Quinn was like a homegrown, like Cleveland area kid.
Yeah,
so but they probably really wanted Bernie Kosar, not Bernie. They probably really wanted Brady Quinn to be the guy, and like it's basically like Derek Anderson never had a chance in Cleveland. I don't think, because like unless Derek Anderson won a Super Bowl with you guys, they were probably going to be clamoring for Brady Quinn no matter what, because he's a local kid and he's a first round pick. Brady Quinn had the expectation to Browns fans what Joe Burrow actually did for us, 20 years later.
No, I didn't go Johnny Manziel.
Do what?
Johnny Manziel.
What about Johnny Manziel?
That's what the Browns fans thought would be their next coming with Jesus.
Well, yeah, no, I'm talking about at the time, because Johnny Manziel was like 10 years old at the time.
Yeah.
At the time, people like Browns fans thought that, Brady Quinn was going to be like, like the perfect Cleveland story. And turned out that, that was actually LeBron James a few years later, but you weren't going to get that out of Cleveland, out of the Browns.
Yeah. Man, you suck, Manziel. You suck, Manziel.
Dude, I love Johnny Manziel because at the like frankly, like one of my favorite memories of me and you is you and me going to watch a Browns game, a Bengals Browns game at OU, and the Bengals just absolutely made Johnny Manziel look like a fucking idiot. It was amazing. And you were pissed. I was having a great time though.
Dude, the Browns won I think the Browns won 8 games while at OU.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because they won 1 game 1 season. They won 0-16 my senior year. I remember, man, I would go to J-Bar every single day. Every single game, I go to J-Bar and sit there and just watch the game. Like, we can win today. Come on, Deshaun Kaiser, man. They suck so bad that year, dude. I was so pissed off. So badly. All that for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. The Browns Deshaun Kaiser season, I was working at 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and honestly, I was kind of burned out from covering football because like I was writing for Cincy Jungle the year before, and Cincy Jungle kind of burned me out. So honestly, I didn't pay that much attention in 2017. Although, I mean, I definitely covered the Browns. I definitely followed the Browns not winning a single game the whole year. But it's not like the Bengals had anything to be excited about. That wasn't exactly a great year for the Bengals.
Hey, man.
Before Marvin Lewis got
they got, they're up here saying they're gonna make a TED 2, man, or not TED 2, a TED TV show with a prequel, little Ted and teenage Ted Companion, whoever the fuck Ted Companion is.
I'll be honest with you, I always kind of thought that movie would have worked better as a TV show anyway. I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah, probably would. I liked I watched TED 2 recently. It was alright.
I didn't think TED 1 was all that great.
It wasn't, honestly. They had some funny moments. Like when Ted was alive, they were like, "Look what Jesus did! Look what Jesus did!"
Look, that
was literally the funniest joke of that.
It's Seth MacFarlane. Of course, there's going to be funny moments. But I think I expected a really good movie, and we got like an an okay movie at best.
You know what comedy was bad, by the way?
What?
Dumb and Dumber 2. God.
Yeah, I hate. Well, I didn't like the original Dumb and Dumber either.
Yeah, wait, hold on. How is that a classic?
I don't know. Like, and here's the thing. Like, I don't really understand because, like, I like Jim Carrey now. Ever since probably like Liar Liar, I think Jim Carrey's been like a solid comedy actor. Like, I really like Jim Carrey, but like Jim Carrey's early work is all awful. Like horrible.
Oh,
like I don't like Ferris Bueller. I don't like Dumb and Dumber. I don't like a lot of that early stuff from Jim Carrey. And I don't understand how he was so popular back in the day. Like it's all
I can name 5 comedy movies off the top of my head that are better than Dumb and Dumber. Step Brothers, Happy Gilmore, fucking shit, it's not off the top of my head no more, never mind. Hangover, 1, 2, and 3. There you go. That's 5.
I never saw any of that. I never saw any of the Hangover movies. I didn't think Step Brothers was that great, but
Wait. Hey. Anybody else hear that? Did anybody else just hear that blasphemy ass statement?
I didn't.
I want to put my nutsack on your drum set. No, you're not. I'm totally about to put my nutsack on your drum set. Bitch!
I mean, I don't know. I've never been the biggest Will Ferrell fan. Like he has some really good stuff. Like Talladega Nights is one of my favorite movies out there. But I've never been a huge Will Ferrell fan, and I've never liked John C. Reilly like at all. So I can't.
I look, man. To quote every single white girl ever. I literally can't right now. I literally can't right now with you, Cal. I literally can't right now with you, Cal. I just can't right now with you, Cal. No.
Well, if you can't, then maybe that might be a good time to leave it anyway, because I think we're down to 0 concurrent viewers. I don't think anybody's watching anymore, and I think we're pretty much out of football stuff to talk about because we've been talking about movies for the last 10 minutes. So I think that's pretty much going to be it for this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast, guys. You got anything else to say, Thomas?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm done.
All right. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. So you can always catch more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter and TikTok, Facebook.com/the Phelps, and I'm putting some stuff on Instagram too, like basically the same stuff I put on TikTok, but I think that might be at Kyle Phelps 92 on TikTok as well. I don't know how does Instagram work?
Wait, hold up. Let me Instagram right now. I'll tell you exactly how it works. I mean, you can probably Google. If you look at your name, it'll come up. But it's here. Let me see. Kyle Phelps. You're Urban Legend Phelps. So just Kyle Phelps.
Okay. So I'm Urban Legend Phelps on I want to be clear, by the way, that's an email address I came up when I was 12 years old, so I take no responsibility for that name.
Shout out to the Urban Legend.
Shout out to the Urban Legend right there, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's who I am on Instagram, and like I said, I'm literally just posting the same stuff I post on TikTok. So, follow me on both though; it'd be pretty cool. And then, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Right now, I'm only doing live content and shorts because I just don't have time. I intend to get back to it, but we'll see. We'll see how the world kind of works. But I mean, I'm definitely not going to stop streaming Bengals games. Like I love watching Bengals games, but as far as like content beyond that goes, I don't know. We'll see how things develop. But especially while I'm in school, it's really tough. But yeah, that's me. Where can they find you, Thomas?
Twitter T_star94, the Thomas J Network on TikTok, T_star94 on Instagram. Find me on Facebook and on YouTube under the Thomas J Network.
All right.
Where I've been tweeting a lot about the Cleveland Cavaliers need to fire their coach. Because honestly, I'm more concerned about the Cavs than I am the Browns right now. I didn't think I'd say that, but
Like concerned as in like you're more worried about them or you care more about them?
I'm more worried about the Cavs than the Browns right now. Because fun breaking news, the Donovan Mitchell trade might have been worse than the Deshaun Watson trade, Cleveland. Funny how that works.
Well, breaking news. Also, the I think the Cleveland Browns defense is probably better than whatever defense the Cleveland Cavaliers have, because not too many people have a better defense than the Cleveland Browns.
The Cavaliers had the best defense in the league last year, and they should have a good defense this year, but they're not. Even though they brought back the same people. That's the whole thing about the Browns. Like that's what I've been saying earlier. Like I'm kind of I don't know if that this defense is going to be as good as it is this year, next year, because there's a lot of young players who will lose contracts next year.
Well,
sucks.
Better take advantage this year.
Can't. People
and especially with that Deshaun Watson contract kind of eating up cap space.
I know I'm getting that, dude.
Yep. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, we'll catch you later, and it's going to sound very sad coming from me, but I still say it at the end of the day because I'm a Bengals fan. I've been the Bengals fan through 2 and 14 seasons before, so I can handle whatever we're going through now. So I will leave you all, as always, with a hooday.
Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah, Browns got in the Cavs. The Cavs got to fire their coach.
As long as Joe Flacco is on